All right. Lights red. Hopefully we're in here. What is happening, Feast and Friends? Welcome to another episode. We've only got the three horsemen as of now. Hank is MIA. I text him. Nothing back yet. So maybe Hank was taking a nappy. I'm not gonna lie. I worked this morning and I was taking a nappy on the couch. Had enough time to watch a little bit of the Iowa game and
oh wait, he's on his way.
Oh, coming. Okay. Yeah, anyway, it was going about like I thought it would. So that's why I was comfortable scheduling a live stream over it because it's Michigan versus the Hawks and Michigan's damn good. And Harbaugh's back. So I'm sure they've got a licking to be throwing to a team since they've got him. But anyway, we're not here to talk football as much as I would love to do a live stream and talk football. We're here to talk fishing. So tonight, for those of you that don't know, the guests up top, we have Mr. Dizzle.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yes.
Did I miss something? Why is he called the swim jig guy?
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that. He's an idiot. That's why.
Debo claimed that I never fished the swim jig ever. And I'm like, dude, I fish the swim jig all the time. And so every single time I go out fishing now, I have a swim jig tied on, I take a picture of it and send it to him.
Gotcha. No, he makes a special trip to tie in a swim jig and then send a picture and be like, look, I'm fishing. Oh, how many of you caught on it? Well, no, but I fish it. No.
That's not true.
Anyway, and then we got the handsome, bald, but beautiful Jim up there. What do you know, dude?
What's going on, everyone? Appreciate the invite, Debo.
Absolutely. I'm still envious of the background. One of the best. Yeah. Not only does he have the most tackle out of all of us when we get everybody on here, he's got the most tackle, but the most organized. I might have a decent amount, but it's anything but organized. So
that's where it looks organized. It's not quite as organized as it looks, though.
That's
There's
right.
a lot
it looks good.
It is about to change up, though. I will tell you.
There's old Hank. Hank, give us a thumbs up if you're good. You ready? He's in. All right. There we go. There's the last of the dice here. Now we're all figured out. Oh, Hank.
Yeah,
Hank,
sorry.
what do you know, buddy?
Technical difficulties there.
Oh, you were sleeping. I texted your old lady and she said, yeah, he's on the sofa sleeping.
Well, she wouldn't know. She ain't here.
Oh, okay. Damn. I was the only one sleeping then.
I was like, get out of here, woman. Go to a Christmas parade.
Jesus. Okay, so here's open it up. Thumbs up or down for Christmas?
Really?
I don't like what it is anymore.
I don't know. I don't know what's changed. I don't like it. I don't know. I hate holidays and decorations and all that crap.
When you become, listen, I've never been a decoration guy. I told my wife that when we were younger, I said, look, if you want to decorate, feel free, but don't ask me to help. I don't want shit to do with that.
Yes.
And then Christmas ain't no fun because you know who Santa is? Me. I'm Santa, motherfuckers.
Oh my God, he's already got a few beers in, and we're demonetized already. It's okay.
Do we need
we ain't live already. Oh crap!
We need a bleep button. Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was wondering when the first cuss word came out, and then the second one. I'm like, oh wait,
it's past 8.
Quick, start the live over again.
Hold on, let's redo this.
Sorry, everyone. I apologize, but I ain't letting no fat bearded guy take credit for my.
See, now you know the real thing, and this is how Hank is normally. He just verbally abuses us when we're behind the scenes.
Yeah, before we go live, it gets serious usually.
Yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, now that we got everybody here and we know that we're live.
Look at me. I swear I haven't had that much to drink.
You're 2 kicks to the barn already. Oh, Lord. That's all right. Well, it should make for a fun night. Usually he talks a lot, but when he's had a few beers in, he'll probably basically run the whole stream. So I'll keep a counter up here and make sure I've got the mute button. But all right. So to start it off, so listen, Feast and Friends. The title of this stream is Let's Have Fun. And I think Hank completely set that off the right way.
That's great.
By coming in here having fun, because there's a lot of bull crap like on YouTube and the internet. And Dizzle and I talked about it before that social media can be a great way to, hang out with people and meet people and like Steven, Chris, Brando, like all these people that I've met, locally, it would not be possible without Instagram, this stuff. Otherwise, I'm kind of a hermit, and it would be me and Dizzle fishing. And then now that he lives in, Nebraska and is a Huskers fan, it's really tough because we wouldn't fish a lot of the time because he'd be like, "Oh, okay, I'm watching the Huskers with my old lady." So I'm like, all right, whatever, dude.
This guy, talk about having a dad pop. DEBO'S halfway into one already, and he's frisky.
Oh, shush. You don't even know.
So
anyway,
them two watch sports. Do you watch sports?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I coached high school football, offensive, defensive line for 13 years.
Yeah, I mean, do you still watch it though?
Dizzle doesn't watch the sports.
Yeah,
balls.
I'm out of sports ball.
He just lives out there, so he's a default Nebraska fan now.
Yeah.
See, hey, you can roll your eyes all you want, but look at the color of that plaid back there behind you when you do your lumberjack stuff.
Yeah, it's lumberjack color.
Yeah, Nebraska colors. So anyway, we want to have fun tonight. Answer all the type of fishing questions that you all can throw at us. I've got a few written down for us because the cool thing about getting us together or any type of like different people that fish, different ways, even doesn't even have to be, different parts of the country. But people that have distinctly different ways of fishing is always fun for me on the stream because you can get so many different answers. Like even between me and Dizzle, I'll be like, well, I do this. And he's like, well, actually, I don't really like that. I do this. A lot of the stuff we agree on, and we throw stuff back and forth to each other when it works. We copy each other. That's the cool thing about going out to fish with a friend is you can both fish different things. And when you find something that's working, you can kind of adapt it. But I'm going to say when spring comes, Jim and I were just talking about the ice, and hopefully it'll ice up here soon. But when spring comes next year, what is the one lure, not necessarily that you look forward to throwing, but like a bite that you look forward to getting on? And it might not necessarily be like a specific lure, but let's say grass always comes in at the 6 foot deep range. And you fish XYZ there. Give me a quick rundown of what's one thing you always look forward to. And real quick here, Austin, and I'm going to get to chat. Sorry, I'm behind. But Austin Hall with the $5. Austin, if you have a question. Oh, and also I want to call out, this isn't washed out. Old Stubby and I had a Friday night party down here. And I got, I think, 17 packages sent out this morning, $100 worth of shipping. So it was pretty crazy, but hey, I got the whiteboard cleared again. So we're going to have a couple giveaways tonight.
There you go.
Let's see. I thought I had something else. I don't think so, but who was it? Oh, Brandon. Brandon, if you're on, I've got a bag ready for you. I forgot your email. So he's the only one. You can't even see him up here. So anyway, Austin, if you have a question, please call it out. Put question at the beginning for anybody that has a question in the chat, and we'll get to it. Hey, Scratchy McGee, what you got going on over there? Scratching in the mic.
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought it was Dizzle doing a clamshell. I looked up and I'm like, damn, it's Hank.
I created a party foul over here.
Uh-oh. Were you cleaning that up with paper?
I was, because I had no towels. Paper towels or napkins in here.
Oh, my God.
Well, didn't just take the shirt off and use that real quick.
I actually had that thought, but I was like, they might really.
It's old Hank the Tank. Hey, you already got blocked on Facebook for doing that on the video or whatever.
I did, showing nipple. They did not like it, apparently.
Yeah.
I was sitting by the pool, and Facebook blocked me for showing female nipple.
Oh, there's Brandon.
They were mine. So
Brandon, I got your bag for you, buddy. That's what I was saying.
I've got a nice rack.
Yeah.
For a beard
guy,
man.
If that ever fails, you can do a Hank's OnlyFans. But anyway,
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so for tonight, starting off, guys, I'm going to go first. I'm going to lead us into it. In the spring, one lure that I always look forward to, I'll be honest, the Ned rig is my crutch bait, cold water. I can pretty much anywhere catch them on a Ned, like when it's tough. However, I only had one good day of jerkbait fishing, and I would say that getting on a really good jerkbait bite is probably my favorite, next to lipless. However, lipless the past couple of years has been weak as far as spring, and I think I've missed it. It's kind of not only spring and fall for us is kind of a quick deal, like it can turn really fast. So finding that window, like usually Dizzle and I have had like a pretty standard 2-week window where you can hit a really, really good lipless bite. But that's me. If I could have anything, a really good jerk bait and lipless bite, and then if it fails, Ned rig. How about you guys? Who's going next?
You talking like as soon as like ice out, or like water temps rising?
I'm saying early-ish. Doesn't have to be necessarily right around ice out. Doesn't have to be your first trip out. But let's say that first kind of month. What do you look forward to? Like, here we go. Anthony, jig bite, likes it.
I
Hammer
like the
says,
jerk.
see a
It's
Light
always
commercial
fun.
in Hank's future.
I usually like to
Jerk
start
bait
out
Dizzle.
with a spinnerbait, but I feel like it's a bit too much. So I always look forward to an underspin bite. And when they're on with that, it's usually pretty dang good, which it ain't been that great last year or so, but when it is on, it's usually pretty good. Little 3-inch swim bait on there.
I look forward to probably an A-rig bite. It kind of goes to a jerk bait, an A-rig, and then a finesse worm once they're. I like that jerk bait bite. They'll start pulling off the bluffs here, getting to the bluff ends. That's a real fun bite. Then that A-rig and that worm bite kind of coincide on the smallmouth lakes. The smallmouth will pull up on the beds, so you can drag that little worm around the areas they spawn and have some great days. And then that A-rig, right as that starts, the largemouth tend to pull up into staging areas. And so you can catch some good largemouth getting ready to move up into those little pockets in the creeks, those little drains and ditches. And you can catch some really good ones on windy days on that.
What's the deal in your area, or is it everywhere now? How many hooks can you have on an A-rig?
Yeah, well, it depends. I live right on the line between. I technically live in Virginia, but I fish Tennessee 90% of the time. I'd say almost half and half. If I'm tournament fishing, I'm definitely fishing Tennessee because the bigger lakes are over there. So in Tennessee, it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have 3 hooks and 1 blade per each arm. And Virginia, you can daisy chain those suckers together and throw them a mile long with 800 hooks and whatever you want to put on there.
Gotcha.
So,
Hell, I can throw it over that mountain.
Yeah. I took 5 or 6 of them Flash Mob Juniors and just run them together.
Now you said blades too. There's a limit on blades.
Yeah, for the most part, I think that's right. I know,
really?
when you're fishing BFLs, they only allow 1 blade per arm, or like 4 arms, 4 blades, 5 arms, 4 blades, 1 per each outside, and 3 hooks. I think that's how it goes.
You would think there'd be something on blades, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Maybe I need to check that. I don't know. I've always looked at the hook thing here.
Isn't it a case where you can? So in Iowa, it's what, 3 Debo? 2? 3?
We can have 2.
2. So on those 2, couldn't you technically put like 2 lipless on there?
Yes. Yeah, because it's two lures or 2 open hooks.
2
so
open,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, when you throw, well, you can have 2 lines. So I think that would work. Maybe not. That might be cheating the system because you can have 2 lines in, 2 lures, and when you throw a lure that has multiple treble hooks on it, it counts as 1 lure.
I thought that was kind of
open hook.
Generally, the rule, as long as 2 hooked arms was my understanding of it, versus how many hooks are on that open arm or whatever.
That just amazes me. It amazes me. It's another one of those ban things that drives me crazy. I get it, I get why it got banned in the elites, because they were daisy chaining and like guys would have them, that long, literal chandeliers.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And that's it. It just went berserk. Anytime that happens, they're going to go overboard. But
using a surf rod to throw that thing,
literally, but I, come on, man, it's time to get past that. At least let everybody have 3 hooks. That's 2 hooks. That's stupid.
Is Philip cheek for real right now? He saw an A-rig last year loaded with Vision 110s.
Jesus.
Oh my God. Are we talking about that? Was I'm pretty sure that was a Randy Blockhead video. So where he was swearing up and down that was the deal. This is really for real.
I've seen people do it with ChatterBaits and stuff as
I'm like,
like
That's
you know,
silly.
gimmick things, and it's like I don't know.
how is
Liza, I
that
don't know.
legal?
Liza, are you talking about weights? Liza with the $5 bomb. Thank you,
I
Liza.
don't
Always
think she
appreciate you.
is.
Teardrop round or natural?
This was back
No?
when.
I like a
somebody
teardrop.
was talking
Sounds like she's talking about sorry, but like a drop shot.
A drop shot, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah,
pencil
maybe.
ones is my favorite. That's all I
You
do.
all fish a lot of grass though, right? Around a lot of grass. The pencil.
I'll be honest, the 7 times I've thrown a drop shot, I've used the pencil ones. So Liza, always
Yeah.
appreciate you. Let's see what else. I am so far behind on comments, y'all. I'm trying to zip through. I was only down 10. Yeah, I actually had to bring up another tab to check the live update score. It's
The
gonna be
over
rough.
under on Debo accidentally Xing out of the live there.
Dude, the over under on the
I'm gonna
under.
take the over on that.
Yeah, I was under was Patrick in here tonight. Patrick, how are you? I've never heard of blades being limited. Yeah, I haven't either. Might be a like a tournament deal, maybe not a state deal. Debo Yak 24. Okay, here's one. So let's, Jim. I know you've got your Pelican rigged up. Have you had it out yet?
Yeah, a handful of times. Yeah.
Hank, have you ever fished out of a yak or a small boat?
Hank's got a Pelican too.
Yeah, I've got a Pelican.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I fished, forever. I fished out of a John boat. I mean, forever until I was 32, or I think I fished out of a little John boat. I mean, when I say a little John boat, I mean a car battery, a trolling motor, and Walmart
That's
seats
the
that
Debo
clamped
rig.
on. If you'd fall backwards, you literally, they were just clamped on.
What are you guys' thoughts on yak? So I've been meddling around. Have you guys thought any more about it? Or I know Jim, you just got the Pelican, so probably not. But
yeah, I mean, I was really leaning towards kayak, but I think I like, I guess, sitting up a bit more than I would be in a kayak. So I kind of went the Pelican route.
That's the hard thing for me is I really hate sitting fishing down. Like I really hate it.
Yeah.
And Steven, our buddy Steven, let me take out his extra yak. And I didn't feel safe standing in it. So I tried it once, but maybe I get used to it. I don't know.
I've always said the first time I see a fat man look comfortable on a kayak, I'll get one.
Right.
I mean, the burly guys don't even look comfortable, with their, their.
Yeah, and they're athletic as hell.
Yeah, they're live, their vests up to here. Yeah, guys, this is great.
I will say, as far as getting the Pelican in the water, I mean, it ain't bad. I made a little dolly for it, but just the Pelican by itself is like 150 pounds.
Yeah, it's not light.
Time you put a floor in it, a battery, trolling motor, and you're starting to wheel that. I mean, there's a lot of weight there. It would be tough to do by yourself,
Of course, me, like I went ahead and put a Humminbird 10 in there with
oh, did you?
down and side scan on my trolling motor. But yeah, man, I went to for mine. I went to Tractor Supply, bought one of those little, 2-axle trailers.
That's such a fun store. I love that place.
I do. It smells amazing.
Is it Louis be fishing? Question: what should I throw tomorrow at Texas Pond? Dude, I have no idea. What's your water temp? That'll tell me where you were at in the Iowa scheme of things. Probably a month ago is what it was like here for us. What you're doing now?
They're probably already getting ready to spawn.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, it's spawning right now. Let's see. Oh, Rob, thank you for clarifying what Liza was talking about. Good Lord.
Hey.
Let's see. Nick in the house, man. We got just like Nick. Nick said, hey, this is going to be an awesome stream. He hit me up before. I appreciate all them, not only the members, but all the awesome folks that follow all of us and bounce back and forth between our streams and videos. That's the cool thing. Like YouTube, you can definitely tell there's people on YouTube that think it's like a competition, and it's like there's only enough room at the top for like some people. Dude, there's so many people that watch and they watch similar stuff. There's room for lots of people to succeed. Oh, yeah. So for those of you that follow all of us and watch all of our channels, we appreciate you a lot.
A lot of familiar faces there in the comments.
Let's see. So people were talking about people clarifying Liza. Thank you, Liza. I didn't even catch that. I should have known with you. Let's see. Love my Pelican. Let's see. An Old Town Autopilot Spot Lock. You'd be a fan. Yeah, Adam, I was looking at that one. I think the Native Titan X might be my deal. That's the one I've bookmarked. It might be it. I can pedal with it. Because the thing that I didn't realize with a kayak is how much you have to like position and fight while you're just catching a fish. Like out of my jumbo, it'll move a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, like you're on top of places and you're moving. And there's Steven in the chat now. Steven, thanks for letting me borrow that. Because I'm a scaredy cat. And I was standing up in it, man. I did not feel. He's like, oh, you can stand up, no problem. And I'm like, well, yeah, I have horrible knees and I'm not very stable. So we'll see. We'll see what that turns into. Diggs Outdoors saying hey to everyone. Diggs, how are you, man? Let's see. People talking more about yaks. Give us some. Oh, here we go. Kirk says until they make a girthy yak, he ain't in it. Yep. Hank don't want no part of that non-girthy yak. Let's see. Yeah, Warren says I'm plenty heavy and fairly comfortable in a kayak. Notice he says fairly. So
yeah. I've lost 53 pounds and I'm still teetering at the 300.
Not a guy. Let's see. Here's one. Our mutual friend Jermaine. I said the same thing. Get used to it, becomes natural. Yeah, Jermaine's a big cat. You're what, 6? Is he 6'6"? Yeah, in and out's the best. Yeah, I don't know. It's not bad once you get out on it, but standing in one is just, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't have great balance. I'm not really
there's a lot of advantages to kayaks, but I'm just going to tell you, for me, I like a giant tackle box that floats, that has comfortable seats, that I can stand up, sit down, take a leak off of easily. I mean, it's just for me, it's a comfort factor. Is if am I going to spend $5,000 on a kayak, or am I going to spend $5,000 on a used bass boat? I'm going to tell you where my money's going every single time.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be fun to have for a lot of spots around here, but it's hard to justify with my John boat. But I just hate having to store the trailer and all that. Like the good part about the yak is I would put one of those chain things in. Like one of my buddies has one for his ice fishing deal. I could put one of those chain things in for my yak, back it in, and just in my garage. We've got a really tall garage, so
yeah. And that would, you're right. Like the biggest reason that I want a yak, and I'd like to have a Hobie, but I'd like to have a Hobie with the fins, because you can put them. And it's because there's just not a lot of ponds around here. I mean, like I say, you can go out my front door and you have to look up 45 degrees to see the sky. You go out the back door and you got to look up 45 degrees to see the sky. It's all streams, and to be able to maybe do some during the summer, some shallow water river fishing, mountain river and stream fishing, that would be the biggest reason I'd like to have one.
So I had Louis, and then somebody else said Dallas Fort Worth area is like 57. So 55 to 60 degree water temps. What would you guys throw? What's your favorite thing to throw? Then we're going to answer this question. Jig's a solid one, Dizzle.
Yep.
55, 60. Is that a pond? It was a pond.
Didn't say. Let's just say anything. Any body of water he's going to. I would say depending on if you see bait fish moving, that's like prime time for bait fish movement. Walking bait.
Yeah,
spinnerbaits are good too.
Oh my god, this guy.
Yeah, spinnerbaits.
Yeah. Poppers, man, I have fell in love with the prank this year, or well, for the past few years, but even this year, that bait has been such a versatile bait. The prank popper from
is that the one with the lip?
Yeah,
yeah.
That thing is.
I just happen to have one right here.
What a surprise!
Of course, gee, go figure.
Just happen to have one right there,
Yeah. That's I was catching some on a smallmouth lake on that one right there on the colors.
Here we go.
Out
that's
over
a little lip.
Yeah.
You'll like this, Jim. I was catching them on that bait over about 120 foot of water.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
You know what was so funny is that
how far were you calling them up though?
Not far. They were anywhere from 30 to 10 feet. You'd see them down there, and what was real funny is you'd throw out to them, and you'd pop it a couple times, and they'd just get their attention, and they'd come up to it, and they never would hit it and then you would swim it. And once you swam it, then you stopped, and you'd have to sit there for 3 seconds, and then they'd finally go, boom, and they'd eat it. So it was such a weird and subtle bite. It was interesting.
And that's what I really like about LiveScope is, I mean, I don't have it, but that's what I would like to use it for. Just seeing how the fish react to the baits, you know?
Yeah. That's cool to see.
I enjoy it. You know, it's not everything. You know, I use it a lot, but you've got to really, really make sure you're not letting it dictate how you're fishing. You know, I've used it a lot this year, because of the style of lakes that I fish. I mean, I fish steep canyon lakes, you know, with no grass. It's just rock and a few trees that it fell in. So the bass on my lakes, what they do most of the time, they pull up and spawn, and then they just pull out to the middle of the lake in open water and roam and chase all the shad in open water. They relate to nothing. So,
spinnerbait or chatterbait? That's our next question. Then my question after that is, do you have any lures that you're looking forward to fishing next year? So maybe you've just barely dabbled with it this year before weather kind of turned, but is there a lure that you swear is going to get bit, or you're just excited to throw more next year? That's at the batter's box ready here in a second. But right now, spinnerbait or chatterbait? Jim, I know you. Let's hand this one to Jim first. I know you're a big spinnerbait guy.
I usually lean toward the chatterbait in a bit cooler water, but I'm a spinnerbait dude, man. I love a spinnerbait.
Do you feel like the spinnerbait bite over the years has gotten worse or better with so many people throwing a chatterbait?
To be honest, it's tough to say just because, like I've been saying all year, I mean, the lakes, no matter what I'm throwing, and even, I mean, I know I throw square bill majority of the time, but even other guys that throw a variety of lures, this ain't really getting bit on anything around here. But before COVID, I don't really believe spinnerbait bite was bad. I think it was actually improving.
I agree. I think so too. Dizzle, how about you? We know you're throwing a swim jig probably, but when you're not throwing a swim jig, is it spinnerbait or chatterbait?
I'm going chatterbait. Chatterbait was honestly my biggest hitter this season. I caught a ton of fish on a chatterbait, usually just like little white chatterbait with the Jackal Rhythm Wave as a trailer on there with a nice small.
You really like that one,
paddle.
huh?
I do. I really do. It's
to get some of those and try
keeled belly, I think is what they're called. Yeah, where it's kind of V'd almost.
Opens up. Yep.
Yeah, and flat, on top.
I just happen to have one right here.
Oh my god, dude! Unbelievable.
TJ, have you fished those before?
Oh yeah, I like the Rhythm Waves. Yeah,
they're pretty reliable as well, or pretty durable, I should say.
Oh, they are. Yeah, for sure. I agree. I like them. Yeah,
definitely good bait.
Sir Hank, how about you?
I lean toward the spinnerbait most of the time. The chatterbait in the area that I'm at, and really both of them are very situational, you know, time of year
water,
things. Yeah, where I fish,
different, right? You're fishing a heavier off the ledges type thing usually, or no?
Yeah, well, you know, during the spring when they start to raise the lakes back up, you know, because they'll drop the lakes depending on what lake you're on, anywhere from 15 to 40 feet. And so when they start bringing those up and the spring rains come, they'll dirty up. And so that's a good time for those two baits a lot of times. So,
yeah, I go back and forth between both. I mean, I don't know. Like when people talk about the whole I just don't know how much I buy into the what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not conditioned. You've conditioned the fish to a certain bait. Like they're a predator, like they're an ambush predator. I feel like it's hard. And I think maybe you can to a certain amount, but how long does that go? And it's not like every single time people are going there. You know, it might be different if you owned a pond. It was your pond and every day you're fishing a chatterbait and literally every day they see it. But when you're fishing a place that big, I mean, what's the chances that people are around fish when they're throwing it? And if they're just, you know, if they say, well, people are going in the bank throwing it all the time. Well, how do you even know that idiot's anywhere close to fish? Like, you know, right. I've seen people go down the bank and not catch anything, and I'll go behind them and clean up, and vice versa. I've been going down a place and be like, dude, there's nothing here. And then I'll talk to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I just got 6 coming up the bank behind you, idiot. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to throw all my gear in the water. So, it's kind of a time and place thing. And I don't know. I don't know how much I buy into, well, everybody throws it now. They're conditioned to it. They've seen it so much. I don't know. That would be really cool to look into. And I just don't know how you would, because you'd have to have your, like, if you were doing an actual scientific test of it all, you'd have to have your control, versus all these other things. I just don't know how you would cut that out. I don't know. But Andy said, always good run into Hank at the East Tennessee Fishing Show. That would be a blast to do. That would be fun. Get all of us at a booth and come visit the 4 horsemen of the FEESH apocalypse together.
I'll be there this year.
Is that February? Hank?
It is, I think, the last week of January.
Nick says Hank isn't so girthy anymore. Same for you, Nick. You better change that name.
Yeah.
Matt More Fishing.
He's really not girthy.
Yeah.
Real quick, while we have a pause, 257 people watching. Only 126 likes. It's free, guys. You can go out there and click it. Click it. It's free. Just make Debo feel better.
Yeah.
Make his heart smile.
This is what I look forward to every Saturday night. People giving me thumbs up on my live. And if you don't, you're just going to make my Sunday horrible. So give me a thumbs up, please. No, I'm kidding. If you like it, like it. If you don't, go watch some other thing. And luckily, we don't have very many trolls or negative people in here. So, oh my gosh, Dave, talking about negative people. I didn't want to hear that.
Eesh.
I figured that's how it was going to go. That's all right. Michigan's a damn good team. So. Let's see. There was another. Oh, okay. So while I'm looking for the next question, what's the next lure you guys are excited to throw next year? Actually, here I've got some show and tell. Chris and Jim, and you guys can tell me if you've used these at all. So Chris, our buddy, stopped at Bass Pro and grabbed me some of these ChatterBombs. So I'm going to open one up. I got to throw the Evo a little bit. I didn't catch any fish on it. It was cold when I went out and threw it. But the Evo chatterbait is a cool little chatterbait. I feel like it hunts pretty well and is pretty damn consistent. So for being $5, $6, $7 less than the jackhammer, I think it's going to be a good alternative. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are still going to swear and only fish the jackhammer, but
so is that kind of the deal behind that one to save money? Go with that one.
I think so. Not this one. I'm talking about the Evo. This is the Bass Pro one.
Gotcha.
But this is, it looks like it's made by Z-Man. It's not a wire-tied skirt or hand-tied skirt. It is banded. You can see there. As far as hook keepers, it does have just the 2 lead. So no wire or anything else on it. But it does have a good sharp hook. Little larger hook. Direct connect to the head. And I don't know. Somebody was saying the Evo is just like an old blade design or not the same as the jackhammer. I guess I never looked at them that close, but... It kind of has a weird head shape too. It's got like the bigger eyes that I do like, and more of like a squatty, rounded head instead of like elongated there. So I don't know. Let me know if you've used that one. I really like this pink one, this silvery pink. Looks like the thread fin we have here that have that pinkish purple on them, or gizzard, whichever one has the bluish pinky purple. Those gizzard shad that we catch, Dizzle, those big ones.
Yeah.
Gizzards. But anyway, how about you guys? Do you have anything more? I would like to try these in the Evo. Who's going next?
One thing I'm looking forward to, I actually shot a video on it the other day. It'll be up tomorrow. Is the Hank Parker spinnerbait. You guys seen that one?
Yes,
dude. There's a lot of thought that went. Have you seen his video on it?
I did. I watched his video.
There was a lot of thought that went into that, and it's got counter rotating blades, which was pretty slick. And you just looking at the design of it. I mean, it's.
He even got down into bead placement, talking about like 3 versus 4 beads, for spacers and like.
Yeah. He said you had the length of the arm, or I guess the length of the arm from the head to the eye was critical in the amount of beads, how it was spaced to get those blades to counter rotate.
Who is it that makes that for him? Because he used to be a Man's guy, and I don't think it's Man's anymore. I think it's another company that. I forget who it is, but I've still got some of his new old release Mans, and I've still got some of his old original Mans, and that used to be my favorite spinnerbait, hands down. Did he keep the wire twist at the top instead of an R bend?
Yeah, and he said because of that light wire, if he would have done the R bend, it just would have bent out too easy. So he did the twist. Yeah.
That was one of the famous things of the old Mans back in the day that I remember anyway. Everybody else didn't have that, and it was a Mans thing. I'm sure there's other people, that do it now. I would have to look, but I always love that on those.
And I like his twist too. The one about Picasso, they have I guess it's kind of like a twist, but it's more like of a loop, kind of like it looks like a split ring, and sometimes the line will get caught in there, where how he has his twisted, it can't get caught, so it's pretty slick.
For me, I think the BR head and the BR fish from Duo. You know, I've already been catching, quite a few.
Is that one with the wings? The head with the wings?
Yeah,
Where it
yeah,
starts?
and the little fish. And I've got a bunch of other little baits that I want to try to see if I can get to work with it. Some different colors, different weights now that they sent me. But there's a topwater bait that they sent me.
I don't think he is. I think he's very intensely staring at his screen, typing or something, Jared.
Reading.
Oh,
that
reading.
I cannot wait. And I know this looks interesting, but this is a small one and you put the hook in yourself. And I cannot wait to try this, man. It is a Micro Dodge by Raid.
Is it topwater?
Yeah, it's topwater.
It's like a little walker, like a little walking.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a small one. You just put a single hook in. So I'm really excited.
Is it like soft plastic or is that like a foam?
Yeah, it's soft plastic.
Never seen such a thing.
Yeah, I can't wait to try that, especially on the, during the summer when they pull out there and you can call them up deep. I want to see how that little walking bait's gonna, do.
Dizzle, so many people are saving you for a screensaver and making sure you're alive up there. Dizzle, do you have any? What's yours? Oh, we gotta get to you here.
I had some success with it last year, but not much. But I'm ready to throw some Hellraiser a little bit more. Mr.
See, they got
BBC,
a new size coming out.
Yeah,
they got the smaller one.
Yeah.
The BBC said you can use it like a rattle trap and just pop it and almost jig it back, and that's how I caught a big one on it last year or this last season. So that's always an option too. That's got to Jesus. Yeah. Okay, let's move forward.
Paul,
I did put questions, or I have put a question in the private chat also.
Oh, okay, we'll grab that one next. Paul, yes, I did link Hank, Bassgeek, and Dizzle in the description below, so you should be able to click on them. It'll take you to their channel, and you can follow. Please do that because these are three great cats, and I want to try to get Dizzle. We want to try to get Dizzle to 1,000 subscribers before he puts out a video. Once he hits 1,000, it's guaranteed. If we get him to 1,000, he has to put out a video.
300 and some, I think.
Oh yeah.
Last I checked, yeah.
Get pushing, folks. Get on the subtitle. Okay, let's see. Mr. Randall, what'd you put in here? Cisco says best jig trailer for colder temps. Best jig trailer for colder temps. I'll go first. That's pretty easy for me. I like a beaver style bait. The Smalley Beaver from Reaction Innovations has probably been my favorite of all time once the water gets colder, where I don't want a lot of movement. It's just two kind of tails. I did get some of the Great Lakes finesse craws. I forget what they're called. Snack craws, I think. And multiple people were saying putting those on the back like a chunk, like a craw chunk. Looked really good on finesse. I'm trying to think. There was another one that I had that I liked for a finesse trailer that worked well. Dizzle, what was the other one?
The other one, what? The other?
I feel like there was another finesse trailer you and I had talked about.
Just the Raids chunk. That's really the only trailer you ever need for jigs. Just
yeah, this guy's like.
You guys ever put the little? I think it's might be 2 3/4. The little crop happy on the War Eagle jigs. Those are pretty slick.
Yep.
I've not tried that.
Yeah, I like those.
It's hard to beat a salty chunk, man. Hard to beat one in the cold weather.
Oh, it was the net bait pack-a-craws that I used to throw those all the time.
Oh yeah,
I got off of throwing them for. I haven't used one for I don't know how long, and that used to be one of my top 2 go-tos. How about jigs? How about jig for colder water? What do you guys turn to? Do you have any sort of different, smaller profile? Do you go finesse? Do you switch it up, or do you just still throw your, what do you guys go to when it's a more colder water jig bite?
This is one of those times where I'll do a little bit more trimming just on a war eagle itself, cut the skirt down more. Maybe even take a small segment off of the chunk. It's kind of crazy because it's so short to begin with, but just make it a little bit smaller profile that way. So,
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I like those war eagles.
mm-hmm.
I
I don't
eagles.
use war eagles. I use something totally different. Nobody buy them. They're horrible.
They can't anyway because you've bought them in a 80-mile radius around us. And
are you
Nebraska.
the one buying the black, blue, chartreuse, and purple ones up? They're never available.
Those, yeah, you can't get those.
I do actually buy those whenever I see them at the store.
I see them every once in a while, then I forget to order them, then I go back and they're gone.
Dude, whoever the naming convention on that one always cracks us up because it's like you have pond scum, bluegill flash, amazingness, and it's like this was the last one in the effing line. I just want to get out of here.
It's like, Tony, come on, it's 4:30 on a Friday. Yeah. What are we doing? Pick a color already.
Black, blue, purple, chartreuse. Yeah. Be done with it and go home.
I like a bigger, like a mop style jig.
That's what I wondered if any of you
when it's colder, football head, because you get less movement. The more you cut down a trailer, the more you get that pulse. And I want it to just lay there and look dead when it's cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I tend to downsize. I mean, Dizzle and I were out. That's been a few years ago, but I was doing one of the Kayak mono spin swim jig that's tiny. I mean, just a tiny one.
Super small.
And I caught, almost a 5-pounder that day on it. But, that's bank fishing for us around Chunk Rock. If you end up going to like a big heavy, you can't do that. You can't go to a big heavy football jig around that because you're going to be snagged all the time. So usually with us, Dizzle and I have found that going as light as you can get away with around that Chunk Rock, you'll be better off. But,
yeah. That's the ones I was even finding on the bank were 20 to 30 foot deep. I was out Sunday, and then the ones chasing shad were 50 to 70 feet deep. So
I don't even necessarily know if there's a whole lot of bodies of water
to have a mop jig.
Oh, you have to have one. Go figure. Tyler, I'll bring that up here again in a second. Now, do you guys? Does that have some of the round like living rubber? Do you guys get into the big debate of the round living versus not?
If I'm around, especially during the wintertime, if I'm around smallmouth and spotted bass, I do like a little bit of living rubber because of the movement.
I was going to say, and the whole difference between, like, for people wondering what the hell we're talking about, like the regular silicone or the square ones that you find will have a different movement compared to that living rubber that tends to float and flow, differently than that, silicone that will lay down, or like Hank was saying, you cut it short and it will tend to spider kind of finger up and just like, remember a koosh ball? Anybody remembers those old koosh ball? They'll kind of puff up like a koosh ball. So you can get different looks. People get really like down and dirty into that, making jigs. I don't know. I just like a finesse cut, kind of like Dizzle and I have talked about that spider cut where the front's cut short, the back's cut kind of short. Yeah. And that's really due to Dizzle turning me onto that. I mean, he whooped my butt. I don't know how many times with that. It's like, I got to learn this damn thing. So
it's a winter standard.
Yep. Tyler with a $10 bomb. Damn, Tyler. Thank you. What baits or rigs would you recommend for a kid? This is a good one. I would say as a kid, I got 2. Spinnerbait or something that you can just chuck and wind because you're always doing something. I hated to sit like with a minnow and bobber. That was boring as hell to me, or trolling. Like, I would rather gouge my eyes out with a fish hook than do that with Dad. So even if I was just chucking a spinnerbait and winding it and not catching anything, it was still fun to me. Either that or a Texas rig, like a light Texas rig with a 3/8 or 3/16 ounce weight on it. So you're not getting snagged all the time, but it's weedless and woodless. Then they can just kind of feel stuff. That's kind of my 2 go-to.
I started my son out with a little, I think they're from Booyah, the little Pond Magic spinnerbaits. And then we also, he would build them himself. You can get like the little arms for like the beetle spins. So you get the arms, you can get the blades and the jig heads. They kind of give him something to do. He could build his own, but that way he can just throw it out, reel it in. But those were great, and the little Pond Magic spinnerbaits.
Yeah. And I would say even getting them their own little tackle box, even if it's just like a 3700, so they've got their stuff, hey, it's your stuff. You do what you want with it. That was always huge for me. I remember like for show and tell, I took mine and was super proud of it. And people were all looking at my baits and like messed it up. And I was all super pissed off. And I'm like, oh no. But it's having yours, having your own, not having to dig through your dad's stuff, your grandpa's or whoever. It's just fun having your tackle box, to start out with. So
yeah, I
Even
think that's
like,
a big.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you, Hank. Go ahead, please.
Sorry. Even like a little, split shot rig, where you either put a little Ned rig or a Sakushi bug like Jim's
Big Mike.
boy. Big
But
Mike.
he kind of gravitated towards you.
Yeah, that's a great way,
That's a good forgotten one. Like the Mojo rig. People talked about the Mojo rig for how long, and it was just a split shot rig.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't hear that much anymore. That's something I kind of need to go back to. It's like a bank fisherman's, poor man's Carolina rig, kind of.
Mike's been whipping me with that for the last 3 years.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I don't have kids, so I don't really know, but I've fished with nieces and nephews and things like that. And I think the biggest thing is to kind of, especially when they get to like a certain age where they don't want to have the little kiddie option of like a worm and a bobber or something like that, give them something super easy, like, like you're saying, Texas rig, spinnerbait, something like that, where they can, cast and wind it in and they feel like they're cooler than little kids, kind of stuff like that. But it's just something to get them interactive. Like Debo said, kids get bored.
Sometimes I would just fish with my kids. I'd tie a line to them and be like, "Noodle kid, give me that catfish."
Tie a rope to them and throw them in like you're magnet fishing. But
don't cry.
Get it, boy.
Crying's for losers.
Pain is temporary.
One thing when my son was super young, I don't know, he might have been 3 or 4 when I kind of started him out. I never fished. I try to make it all about him, because if you tried to fish and you're getting into it and ignoring him, dude, and really whatever the fishing trip, whatever he wants it to be is what it is. If he only wants to fish for 10 minutes and go get lunch, that's the fishing trip. If you try to force him to do it, he wouldn't like it, so just however long he wanted to fish, whatever he wanted to do. And I think going fishing could have been going to the lake throwing rocks. We might get there. He might not even want to fish.
Yeah.
Right.
He might want to throw rocks, and that still kept him coming back to the lake.
Having it being a positive experience each time, not we're going to go out for 8 hours and you're going to like it, sit down and shut up. And my dad would always he would never, if I ever said I wanted to go, it was fine. But like, if I knew we were going to be out all day, I would just lay down in the bottom of the boat sometimes and sleep. Like, I don't care. You want to do that? I remember one time I still joke with Dad about it. Like, it was 18 billion degrees and he's like, "We're not leaving yet. The bite's good." One of those times where like, we're going to go over here. I'm like, I'm going to lay down and take a drink. And I wake up and I'm just like parched. I'm like, "Dad, did you bring drinks?" He's like, "Yeah, get in the cooler." And I get in there and all there is like melted like ice and diet Coke. I'm like, "Oh, you brought freaking Diet Coke?" And I'm like, I don't know, 12. And I drink Diet Coke now, and it's funny, but then I was like, "Oh, Diet Pop tastes like piss." Like, I can't even. So I was drinking like old water from the cooler. I'm like, I felt like I was in a Sahara desert. Yeah, funny time.
Build up your immune system, boy.
Yeah, drink out of that cooler, boy.
Drink pond water.
Yeah.
The other thing, like if you do want to seriously fish, just make sure you got a good life vest where it just straps on them good. Tie a rope to them, kick them off the boat, and drag them behind you while you're going. My kids used to sit with a tow rope tied to them. They just float around.
Oh yeah,
swim around. My wife still does that.
Yeah, see, they love that.
She's in a tube off the back of the boat.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna go fast now. Get in or get left."
Get in or hold on. Austin,
good way to
member for 10 months. Have you heard of Weston? They released a bait caster recently.
Yeah.
They're mostly pike baits, but the reel looks sweet. I have heard of them. They have a stupid duck that Dizzle and I pass back and forth. I don't know how long we would secretly store it in each other's truck. I don't know where that went, Dizzle. I think finally might have thrown that away.
Danny the duck? I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Some stupid duck that didn't work.
I got a video on that too.
I saw it and I was like, I gotta buy this thing. It's gonna be a pike killer. It's gonna be amazing. First cast, one of the legs halfway ripped off.
Oh yeah.
And then the belly where the hook came out, it started to split in no time whatsoever. And I found the email address and I contacted them, and they're like, "We're from the UK. We don't care."
Yeah. Didn't they have a weedless walking bait too? Seems like they had a weedless walking.
I don't know.
Bait
I feel like they had something that was pretty cool for
like
pike.
that.
We talked about, and it was like, yeah, this one's actually pretty cool. but I think I've only used 2 of their things. And yeah, the duck ended up being a joke between us. No, I didn't know they had bait casters. It is interesting seeing the different companies that have started to come out with bait casters. Denali, Dizzle, did you see that? Denali came out with bait casters.
Yep.
What's the one company that came out? It's I think it's like a one-piece reel, ain't it?
Baits. I want to try some of theirs baits, but they're expensive. They're like
they're completely machined aluminum.
CNC aluminum machine. Yeah, they look awesome. They're made in Texas, made here in the US.
This is the 3rd live in a row. I think we've talked about that.
Dude, I know. I need to splurge and buy one. Jim, buy one and let me borrow it. Let me do a review on it after you. Because we know Jim's already got some back there in boxes that he hasn't unboxed. He's like, well, actually, now that you say that, you don't, do you have one?
Shut up.
No, but I do have like 7 or 8 other reels down here.
Exactly. God. This guy.
Where's this one at? Hold on.
Yeah, Real Daddy's correct. When Tackle Warehouse is low on stock, they call TJ. Yeah, TJ, we're in a pinch. We can't get stock. Can we put an order in from you?
Yeah.
Which one's that? Is that the new Steez, the new one?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's pensive. Bring that baby out. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's not the A. ESV.
That's still pretty. Let's see. Again, getting behind on comments here. We need to do a live too. 50 minutes in here at the hour mark, we'll do a live. 276 people still watching.
Yeah, I thought we were doing live. That's why I got in trouble when I first got here.
What did I say? Giveaway is what I meant. What did I say?
You said we got to do a live. We need to do a live here.
Start, man. That was great.
That was on this live. Not fantastic. That was bad. Bad of me. Bad.
I was so confused. I was like, damn, dude, he's just letting the profanity.
He's fed up with this.
I was like, how are we live?
Yeah, that's why I asked you beforehand, like, Hank, are you ready to come in? Oh yeah, he goes, oh yeah. I'm already halfway out to the barn anyway.
Man,
hot in this room, man.
So I looked up Weston real quick just to see if I could find the frog and send a picture to somebody. But they have another frog called Freddy the Frog wake bait. There are so many joints on this thing. It's got a jointed body,
like, plastic one that has the feet and all that.
I think so. Jointed legs with jointed knees with jointed ankles, and it looks like a monstrosity.
Ben, here's an interesting one. Boy, this caught all sorts of heat back and forth at ICAST. I heard some of the Paula Crush City mayors. I don't know which one that is. I think, is that the swim bait?
Yeah.
So what are you guys' thoughts on it? Are you going to try any? There was a couple of them that looked pretty good to me.
I got 2 boxes down here. They freaking
oh my god! Of course, this guy has awesome.
I tell you what, I ordered some before I seen them in person, and then I went to Bass Pro the other day and actually seen them in person, and I bought a bunch more because they look fantastic.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what your favorite one is? What's your favorite out of all of them? I don't know what all you got.
I gotta find them. Hold on.
Yeah, Nick, he's getting girthy in the muscles now. You are, dude. You look awesome. Absolutely good work. Evil Chatterbait. No, Evo. Sorry, Evo. EVO. Not
evil Chatterbait. It's so bad.
Let's see. Iceman said met Hank at Red Crest, the classic. Cool. Sorry, had to stop and talk to him. I'm sure he talked for like 37 hours.
So with their Firecraw color is pretty killer.
All Hank does is rolls his eyes.
Oh, nice.
I probably did.
Yeah, they got the color down pretty good.
Does that have a tail?
Yeah,
on
I like
it,
it.
Like a
It's just like the
just straight tail, kind of like a spunk shad.
Oh, spunk shad. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
The Bronco bug's pretty killer.
Did you get the sexy shed?
No, I don't like sexy.
Does the spunk shad come in? Does the spunk shad come in sexy shad?
Dizzle's nickname in high school was the old spunk shad.
And can you put some of John's
Cox juice?
Cox
juice. Here we go. Well, this stream's taking a turn, folks. I
knew Dizzle would jump on that one.
Some Cox juice on that trench hog.
Oh my lord! Yeah, I haven't seen Gramps in here. Gramps ruined that for me.
This one's the
Ooh, here's an interesting one. I haven't been to one of those for a while. Little Rich, good question. Hold on, I'm gonna grab
the Bronco bug.
yeah, that one looked cool.
Nice.
That's supposed to be like a rip off
those,
of, I don't know,
like,
some
those, you know, they're just sideways
Yeah,
claws,
they
right?
kick like that. They've got
they
a
go
little
like
different
this,
kick.
like on the way down, like they're
Yeah.
That's
like
never
they're
bothered me.
doing
I don't really
the
care.
runway.
I mean, you can only make a crawl or a bait look so many different ways. You know what I mean?
Can we add a D to that? All the above? Just all the above.
Yeah, do you guys notice as we get into that, do you notice a difference of, like, let's say you go to a small town tackle shop? I know Dizzle and I have bought some things there that you can't find. Like, there's some small town people that were making jigs. We got some really cool swim jigs. A guy had a different mold. You know, sportsman shows. Hank, I know you go to a lot of the sportsman shows. What tips or things could you give for people to look for? Or
you know, the biggest thing is take your time, look around, and don't discount something that looks off the wall, because I say it all the time. Imagine what people thought about the first ChatterBait. You probably looked at that and went, "That's so stupid. It ain't gonna catch no fish." You know,
Exactly.
And then everybody started winning $100,000 on it, and all those guys were like, "Hang on, I remember when that come out. I'm dumb."
Or the small places. Like, I like how you would go to you did the one on just the small.
Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about, because like ChatterBait was a dude, and he was going around to all these sportsman shows, and you know, he was selling it and realized he just couldn't keep up with it, and that's why he sold it to Z-Mans.
I think you know, on that note, the first time I fished like a turtleback, or I found a turtleback spinnerbait blade, you know, the ones with the crease down the middle, was at a local like a smaller, you know, show like that. And they're like you said, the big thing is you know, don't be afraid of those things that look different. And you know, honestly, if you want some cheap good lures, you know, don't be afraid of those, you know, the 1.5 mile long bins of plastics that they pre-poured. You know, you can get those for cheap.
Yes.
Yeah. And like bulk, oftentimes they'll have really good deals on bulk. Like, I know Dad and his buddy and Dizzle has done the same. We had used to have a fishing show locally, and they would get, you know, at the time they would get the big, huge Berkeley bags of like the tequila sunrise worms, 100 of them for, you know, a ridiculous price. I know Dizzle's got some really cool, again, different type of plastics that he's gotten in bulk and stuff. Yeah. Nick Rodriguez says, I got to get a bit on the Hellraiser. It's a waste of money. Dude, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. That's gonna be one of my best or worst lures of 2023. You can probably tell which way it's gonna go for me.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you, that bait to me, I mean, if you guys tell me it's good, I'll start using it. But it just looks like Z-Mans went, "Hey man, we got all this extra crap laying around. This devil's horse blade split in two. Let's put it up here and then take the rage blade and stick it on the rear end."
That's exactly what it is. They took
and we'll sell this to a bunch of morons.
They took all the bulk rage blades, put it on the back of a Suic, a cut down Suic.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Once I got it in the water, the action is pretty awesome.
And that's what I'm saying. That's probably one of those lures where I'm going, "That's dumb," and then somebody's going to win $100,000 on it. And I'm going, "I'm stupid."
Not so much. Yeah, like, it looks good, sounds really good. And from the beginning, I will say I called it. It looks like a pike lure, and I've had pike swipe at it. The hookup ratio for me has been absolute garbage. So there's a cat out of the bag already for that one. But dude, the hookup ratio on it, and we've talked about that before. It's that metal, that rage blade that hangs down. It's got a big ball here, which is what's vibrating as it's going. Then it's got a treble hook right here, right off of it. So I think that's part of it. Is anytime they're grabbing it, there's a big blade in the way. So they're getting blade before they're getting, and then you've got one at the front, but it's, you know, it kind of rides in the water like this. So you've got one here and then one clear back here at the back. So if they're just swiping at it, like, I don't know.
I did get pretty annoyed by the fact of how much the hooks got hung up on the bait itself or the line. I felt like almost every cast, I was having to adjust those or.
I didn't have that problem. I just had the problem of couldn't keep fish on it, and it was
broke one of the treble hooks too.
Weird. Really?
Yeah, they were pretty stout, but I broke one off on something. I don't know.
Yeah, so Nick, more to come. That's one reason I would like to try the smaller ones. Somebody, I don't remember. It might have been Punch that said, "Oh wow, they released a 4.5-inch Hellraiser instead of the 6-inch or whatever." He's like, I'm glad they filled a niche for something that wasn't needed. And I kind of agree. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's not a big difference, but maybe that one have better hookup. I almost think that, like, actually, here, hold on. I'm gonna get into the next question. I'm gonna stand up and get these. See if you guys have ever used these. Now, this would have to be open water, 100% open water, but yeah, take a drink. So let's start with this one. I'm going to give this one to Jim. Jim's a good, another gear guy here. What size, power, and action would you use for ChatterBaits? So I'll let Jim kick it off, and then you guys, hold on, I'll be right back.
I do more target fishing, so I like a shorter rod, 7 foot. I use a heavy with a mod fast action. So you got plenty of power, but you got a nice soft tip.
I'm a same thing, 7 foot, maybe a 7.3. So you get that little bit softer tip, but I'm a medium heavy, fast action.
Hey, wait, let's wait for him. Hey, buddy, how are those wireless earbuds doing? But anyway, do you remember off the top of your head what that?
Actually, I did charge them up. They're charged. I forgot to go get them. So,
do you remember what that arc sniper rod?
Go kick
what
a
that
rock.
was?
What
for power? The arc sniper rod?
I don't remember. I think if you had the longer one, I think it was a 7.2 or 7.3 medium heavy moderate fast. It was a mag medium heavy moderate fast.
That's what I've been using for ChatterBaits recently.
It's a good one.
I don't get the mod. Like, I'm just so old school. Like, I like to feel everything. I don't get the mod on ChatterBaits. A lot of people are like, okay, man, I like to use a soft. Like, I seen somebody say I use a glass. But I mean, we're talking about a jig hook,
So the whole
how
argument
how are you setting the hook and getting a good hook set on a thick, heavy gauge jig hook? Because we're not talking fine wire. I don't understand that.
I will also say, even though I caught a lot of fish on the ChatterBait this year, I lost a lot of fish too. Maybe that's
user
the reason.
That's because you're used to fishing a swim jig.
Well, I see where you're coming from, Hank, but dude, you have the momentum of the bait coming at you pretty fast.
The difference between the way I always break it down, because
hooks, I don't care how thick they are, they're pretty dang sharp.
Well, but I mean, a jig hook, it's just like I said, I'm old school. When I feel the weight, I'm driving her. I'm going to make sure she's stuck.
Well, that's that's the exact. I mean, this is the exact argument that you get into when you watch it on YouTube. You've got guys that swear by.
The difference is the jig sitting still, where the ChatterBait you're moving fast.
Yeah, but I'm the same way with a spinnerbait. I mean, a spinnerbait, 90% of spinnerbait's got a thicker hook than most jigs that I throw.
Do you throw it on mono or fluorocarbon?
I throw it on fluoro 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the mono fluoro versus braid, and like this is the exact argument. So like everybody apparently says that fish always come up behind a ChatterBait and eat it from behind. So the whole deal of that is they get it in their mouth, and you start to feel that bend in your rod, and it loads it up before you're really swinging on them. Versus like a jig or something where they can pick it up and they're moving with it. You don't even feel it yet. You're just sitting there, right? You can see your line going.
Yeah.
You don't have that. So it's like, I don't know. People swear both ways. I don't know that there's a camp to be in. I like a softer rod. I like more of a moderate to moderate fast.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people that swear by like a glass. Like you have to have a glass for that action.
I don't even use glass for crankbaits. I'm like, I want to feel every rock I'm picking.
Yeah, I have some like mixes, but yeah, I don't even have. They've come a long way since the old days. I remember me and Dad would fish glass, and it was like holding a pool cue. Like they were bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But okay, so real quick, these I want to get your guys' thought on these. They call it the decoy wire treble assist. So I was almost thinking like you need something like this. So it's got a split ring here. You almost need something like this kicking off the back like a stinger, and this is like a titanium wire, like a leader, like a pike leader. You almost need something like this off the back on the Hellraiser. And you can see it's stiff there, so it shouldn't bend around really and get snagged too much, but I don't know. I don't know if that was my only thought when I picked up some of these to try. And maybe I'm trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and I should just be throwing a buzzbait instead of that stupid thing. But
amen.
Yeah,
have you seen that reel where it's a guy and he's got the little box with the blocks and things on it, and he's like, "This is a square peg. What holes is this going to?" And flips to somebody else, and they're like the square hole, and then the round, and then the half moon, and then the triangle, and they all fit into the square hole of the one that he's using. And the person's like, "No, why is this a thing?" Everything fits into the square hole, I guess. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Swim jig is all I can say. Swim jig, baby. Let's see. Hey, Kuda in the house. Kuda, how are you, my man? Kuda, I gave you a shout out on my latest video. Thanks for giving me the shrink tubing talk for covering up jig eyes. Appreciate that, my man. Let's see. So people, I'm so far behind. We're talking about still getting your kids on fishing stuff. I'm at 9:39. Here we go. Question for Bass Geek. Have you tried the Waterland Bedfisher series glasses? What do you recommend, lens, if so?
Not yet. I'm getting ready to put my order in for those. For me, I like two different lenses. So I like the Golden Light series for early mornings, super low light. And then I like the green lenses, and that's for higher sun, clearer days. That's the
This
two.
is a green lens guy too.
Now, I'm a big, like the Golden Light, which is basically kind of an amber, right? And I'm telling you, if you find a good amber lens on a low light day, especially like that where it's clear water, I do a lot of sight fishing during the spring and the spawn. A green lens, it'll just frustrate you because you can see that it's just so much brighter. It just brightens everything up.
Yellow lens does pretty good too, low light.
Yeah, well, that's a amberish lens. That's like, I call it amber, but that's basically it, a yellowish lens.
Yeah, my green ones are more of a just your regular colored, and then I have a pair of purple lenses that are ambered backed. And it's just weird how much of a bigger difference it makes. Especially on those certain conditions. I'll be out and I'll be like, damn it, why don't I have the other lenses with me?
That's even a few years back. I was fishing, what was it? Morristown Team Trail. And I go on Amazon at the beginning of every year because the lenses are they're cheap. So they're real soft. They scratch up, but I'll get those, amber or yellow ski goggles. And, when it rains or it's really overcast, you can see. I had a buddy of mine, we had to make a long run in a tournament. It's going to be some bad rains that day. I was pointing out logs. He finally just stopped and he's like, "How are you seeing this, man? I'm not even seeing it." And I just grabbed my goggles and handed them to him. And he's like, "Wow, it's like somebody cut the lights on in here." I said, they use it for snowboarding with all the white, man. It's like,
that's a great idea. Like, I've only been on fast boats like a handful of times. Like, my old man's doesn't go that fast, like, I don't know, 40 maybe. But like, I've been on some fast ones where we're going like 70. And dude, even on my old man's, like, goggles, I think would be awesome to have, because like my eyes water like with the wind going over them.
And when it's raining, man, I don't care how tight you get your rain suit or your sunglasses, if they're wrapped around, man, that water will get up underneath them, and that they don't fog up. That's what they're made for. They're made for cold weather, activity, and so they don't fog. I mean, they're great.
That's what I gotta find a pair that wrap around decently. I have a pair of Costas, but they're more of a wrap around.
Yeah,
and I can't. They fog up so bad.
I should give you those Wileys since you don't need glasses. I'm super simple when it comes to it, and the game changer for me was getting prescription sunglasses so I can actually see.
Yeah,
I've just got like one pair of Oakleys. But yeah, I should give you those Wileys because they come with like padding inside, and that was the thing that I liked about those. So when you push your glass up, it's like onto the padding, so everything's sealed, and there was no like above or sides. That was super nice.
You should really look into the Hobie glasses. They've got all three lenses that I like: the blue, the green, the low light, and you can buy one frame, and you can just buy the lenses to swap out. Prescription too. So
yeah, I use a site that has the ability to, if you know what your prescription is, you can put that in and get the same lenses with or without prescription.
Yeah. So this, you can get the frame and then you can just swap out the different color lenses in your prescription.
Mhm.
Or it's pretty cool.
I think Wiley X does prescriptions too, I think.
I need to look into it. I need to see if I can get mine and because those ones that have the foam, I got,
Yeah.
hey, again, it was on Gander Mountain sale. They were like $120 glasses. I think I got for $40. So like, but yeah, now that I'm
think
blind and can't see, I need
Sunglasses are like, for me, one of the most important
man.
fishing tool I have.
Yeah.
Colin, I've got to say, let's get into an old classic. So we've got 295 people watching here. In just a minute, we're going to poll, especially if we get to 300. I'm going to start the poll early, but here in just a couple minutes, we're going to get the poll for a giveaway. And I'm going to tailor it to the winner tonight. So we're going to try to throw some good juju to the Hawks. See if we can maybe give them a push over Harbaugh and the Wolverines. Also, fun fact, you notice the Wolverines don't have a mascot? I just learned that the other day and never ever noticed that for I don't know how long. I don't know. They don't have a Wolverine out there dancing around and doing all their stuff. I don't know. Anyway, we'll do that here quick. But Colin said, question, has anybody ever caught fish on a man's jelly worm? Absolutely. That was one of my favorites back in the day. And then Colin also says, Yamamoto double tail grub. I will raise you one and say the hula grub.
Amen.
Was also one of my favorites back in the day. I just posted that. Somebody shared the spider hula grub.
Still is one of my favorites for smallmouth in the spring.
Dude, it's such a good lure. And I only used it for largies. And people are saying, yeah, it's a smallmouth lure. I'm like, I never fished for smallmouth back in the day, and the largies will crush it too. So Jim's licking his chops.
They're in the boat.
Jim?
I know. I got
okay. Yeah.
I was going to grab them and they're in the boat.
So what's an old favorite? Colin, I don't know if Colin's an older cat or if he's a younger guy that's finding some of the cool old stuff. Do you guys have a favorite oldie? Like an old lure that you're like, gosh, that was such a good one, and I still secretly keep it.
You know, I've got to go, especially this time of year, with the long A from and I always say, you know, I mean, it's I would never use it as a jerk bait anymore, but it is an incredible wake bait.
I still haven't got on the wake bait trend. I just
smallmouth hate it. They will just crush it. It won the Bass Open Championship on Pickwick like 2-3 years ago. You know, $100,000+. Dude was up the river just using it. He learned it from Wesley Strader, who is a East Tennessee guy and kind of knows our secrets.
What happened to him? He used to I used to see a bunch of stuff from him, and I feel like he's been pretty quiet. He's funny.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
He'll talk about hornswoggling. He'll talk about and stay at the Woolworths and all the other good sayings from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He's a funny dude if you listen to him. And I used to hate him. I'll be honest. He's one of the guys when I first watched him, I'm like, this dude's a cocky prick. Like, I don't like him. And then like you watch him more and he's like, dude, this dude's a trip.
Yeah. Let me, you know, we can talk about that offline, but I'm real good friends with his brother and I love him to death, but now it's a wild bunch, man. Love them.
I bet they seem like they'd be a bunch of fun guys to get her in the camp.
They are.
See, even Patrick said this must have been when we were talking about the black, blue, purple chartreuse jig. LOL, we ran out of names.
You are way behind, aren't you?
Yeah, thanks, Dizzle. Thanks for making fun of me.
I just put another question in private chat. You guys might be able to answer.
Okay, I'll grab it
out of my field.
Hashtag Iowa for the giveaway. I'm gonna leave it open to whoever wins. You let me know what you fish and what you like, and I'll see if I've got stuff that I can hook you up with. That's what we're doing tonight. Hashtag Iowa. You don't have to love Iowa, but if you're a Michigan fan, you do have to type it here tonight. So,
hey, you know, I seen Diggs Outdoors there comment something about a banjo minnow. You know, I stumbled across that Tackle Warehouse does sell banjo minnow.
They re-released it, dude. They re-released the banjo minnow, brand new.
I stumbled across that the other day, and I was like,
dude, talk about pulling a punch and saying, I'm glad they filled a market for something that's no longer needed.
Yeah.
Like, why are they releasing
like,
the banjo minnow.
Tackle Warehouse. I was like, Tackle Warehouse just lost a little respect.
Yeah, I think they've already lost a lot of respect for, and of course, I work with them. You know, they partnered up with me. I've got their code down below. I love Tackle Warehouse. I'll always shop there with Omnia and American Legacy. Listen, I shop at all of them, but let's be honest, the new website for Tackle Warehouse is
I was just gonna say, how about that site?
Oh, it sucks, man. Shoot, it's garbage.
And I like
what did
Tackle
they
Warehouse,
do? Who looked at that and went, "This is the one."
What we want to do is we want to make it more difficult for somebody to actually end up finding what they want to find.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's because they would get like so far behind on those deals. You know, like shipping would be so far backed up because they would have so many people ordering.
You know what I think it was? My buddy pointed this out to me the other day. He goes, they optimized it for your cell phone. He goes, look at it on the cell phone. And I looked at it and
it's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse on the cell phone.
I thought it looked better on mine.
I thought it was better on the computer.
Yeah.
Because you can actually see stuff scrolling on the phone, and then it will maybe it's my phone, but it'll get out of kilter. So it's like I'll have everything over here, and I have to drag my screen.
I've had that happen before too.
I noticed that on
so many screens like this all the time that
Casa must have did that to their website too, because I noticed when you pick on something, everything's to the right side, and you really can't even see it.
Yeah, and you got to grab it. And,
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna draw the giveaway here for a second. We'll still be going for, I don't know if these guys still got maybe 15 minutes, half hour.
Pick a winner.
But we'll still go after this for a little bit. I know Jim needs to go get some food. He come here after a 12-hour shift, so
I still got my work truck parked out front. I didn't even go park it.
Man, he's a grinder, dude. I worked this morning, but didn't pull a 12-hour. So hats off to him. Thank you guys for making this happen again. Everybody go give these guys a follow. Dizzle, Jim, Tackle Junkie, Hank, the Bass Geek. Good dudes.
Sorry about my earlier.
He keeps it much more PG.
That was great, though. That was great.
Yeah. Videos. Thanks for keeping it PG now that you know we're live. Now we know the real Bass Geek. And he's like Elmer Fudd letting the profanities just fly out there. Okay, Brandon Meredith said, question, I started putting a bobber stop on my Texas rig, but in between the hook and the weight, one to protect the knot, and two, because I can essentially turn it into a Carolina rig. Thoughts? Yeah, I've done a video on that before. I used to do what was called the poor man's Carolina rig, and I would do two. So I would do one above it, one below it. You'd slide both of them down, just like you're saying, fish it like a Texas rig, and then pull both of them. So one in front, one behind it. So you've got the weight so it can't move, and pull it. But yeah, you could do just one like that, but I have done that.
It's great if you're a because you can fish it, so many different ways. But another tip, if you're using a heavier weight, put you a couple above it, because that one bobber stop, you'll burn it out after a while casting. It'll start sliding farther and farther up.
That's one thing that, kind of going back to the old school type of things. It's not really that old school, but actually just putting a bobber stop on there, being able to peg your Texas rig in general.
Yeah,
that was when I first started fishing a Texas rig. I would never throw one without a bobber stop on there to be able to peg it or stop it or, put it way up the line, whatever. And for whatever reason, I just got away from doing it and had the free sliding weight on there,
It's great in open water just to not, and I'll still put a bobber stop up because I don't want it flying, too high up, but it's great, in open water. Like if I'm not fishing around a lot of brush, I will never put I'll never peg it down. I want that change. You get so many more bites.
Jared, okay, so we've got 153 people in. Let's get to 160. We've got 290 people watching. Better get our butts up to 160. Hashtag Iowa. Got to put it in. Got to type it, whether you like them or not. To 160, then I'm going to pull it. Jared says, what weight do you recommend for a Mojo rig? What weight do you and Shirley use?
I actually use a little barrel weight. I use a T-stop on those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Something like those with a T-stop. Or even for my son.
What size is that? Like an eighth?
Yeah, eighth. That with the T-stop, or even for my son, I'll just use a little clam shot weight. That's
what I used to use, and I don't like those on fluorocarbon anymore, so I've turned to just a bullet weight. and then doing exactly like we were talking about, actually.
Pegged.
Yep, doing a double peg, poor man's Carolina rig. Yep. A lot of people said inline spinner. This is how far I am behind 848. Inline spinner for a kid. Yeah, they do catch a lot of fish, but I got snagged with them a lot. I used to throw a rooster tail. I thought the rooster tail was the only sort of inline spinner. Let's see. Okay, let's jump ahead here. Oh, Paul's in the house. Just got off the bike. Glad I didn't miss the crew. Look at you, fit Paul. You are a fit mofo.
In shape and still doesn't totally look comfortable in a kayak.
Let's see.
You even fish in that boat anymore, Hank? Dig it out anymore?
No. Unfortunately, I've got 2 bass boats now, so definitely no. I'm like,
I don't know if you got any smaller bodies of water you can't get your bass boat into that you take it to, or
no. I could still troll and motor those suckers.
Oh, here's when I feel like this might open a can of worms. If we get all Hank on this. We got 160. Hank, I'll let you get into it, but I'm going to put a timer here of 4 minutes.
No, this is pretty simple. I'm not gonna fish. Probably not gonna fish any tournaments. I might fish a few one-offs, but if things go correctly, and I'm hoping that maybe I get to kind of jump out and do this full time. So,
Kuda!
Got to save the money, man. I can't unless there's some sponsor that wants to pay for me to go fish them. I'll do that, but I can't. I'm not paying entry fees and travel fees and all that crap.
Grimy Fishing Frank says Hank needs to learn to say earmuffs before he goes full sailor on live. Yeah. Good Lord. There must be some people
again. I apologize.
Okay, so Kuda, I'm going to jump forward. I'm sorry, everybody that I've skipped in between. My goodness, I know I've skipped a crap ton of people. I'm sorry, I was way behind. Kuda, are you in here? 1, must be present to win. If Kuda's out now, he doesn't win. 2, Kuda, you let me know, and we can get together, and I can get you a good little package here if he's in here. You know what? I like Kuda so much. We actually just chatted the other day. I'm going to do 2 giveaways. Kuda already knows how to reach me.
I haven't seen him in here yet, or since he last commented.
If he is, he can tell me. Maybe he's not even here anymore. I'll see if he reaches out to me. Kuda, IM me or message me. Paul Brown Jr. All right. Here, dude. Okay, Kuda, hit me up. You know how to get a hold of me, Kuda. Let's talk back and forth. If there's some lures that you want to try or whatnot, I got you. Now, Paul Brown Jr. must be present. Is it 17-0 Michigan? Yeah, I knew it was going to be a rough night. Go Blue. They're the better team. That's true. For sure.
Paul Brown Jr. is here.
Okay, let's see. So, Paul, send me an email, debosfishing@gmail.com. Let me know what you would like, what kind of lures and type of fishing you do. If you fish a lot of rock or wood, let me know. I'm going to get you up here on the list. And Kuda, I'll get you on here too.
I need one of those boards for video ideas. I'll think of stuff, then I forget it. I need to start writing that stuff down.
Walmart.
That's a good idea.
It's called Siri. Okay. You can say reminder.
What now?
Technology. It's incredible.
What? Are you making fun of my whiteboard?
I'm making fun of you and Jim's lack of technological prowess.
I said I need to get one of those for video ideas. I'll think of videos and I'll forget to
make they're awesome. Dude,
I need to write them down.
I am horrible at that stuff. I can't. Let's see. I make sure I don't show you guys.
And then I said you could just go, "Hey Siri, make a note."
Hey, you know how many people you just pissed off by saying that? You might as well say, "Hey Alexa," while you're at it.
You know, this is my list.
Hey Alexa, play Baby Shark. Bam!
So I have horrible ADHD, and my short-term memory is absolute trash. So I will go from tying my shoes to, wait, did I take that out of the microwave, to what was I going to do in my car? So I have to keep a running list on my phone, Jim. If you have a notepad on your phone,
yeah,
it has saved me so much, because I'll think of something and then 5 hours later, I'm like, dude, I had an awesome idea and I cannot even remember what it was. So yeah, get a running list on your phone. That's helped me a lot.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, Paul. You shush, Hank. We're not all computer nerds like you. Or profanity using sailors like you
I
too.
can't. I apologize. I didn't.
Honestly, I wasn't.
That embarrassed me to have that sort of profanity on my
I
channel.
wasn't looking at StreamYard right when it started, and I was like, Debo, I thought you said Hank was coming, not Punch.
Yeah, Punch doesn't. No, he doesn't make any ifs, ands, or buts of letting it throw. It's fine. It's all good here. I love all you guys. D Burley, I got your package out this morning, so you got a special package coming your way, dude. I don't know if I emailed you. The Lunker Hunt spider that identifies as a frog. No. There's no room for the spider. All right, what else you guys got for questions for us? Yes, the Dizzle whiteboard. That is the whiteboard sponsored by Dizzle. Oh, I've still got Paul up there. Sorry. That is sponsored by Dizzle. One of the best things that Dizzle gave me. He's tried pawning off old swim jigs. Otherwise, you know what, Dizzle? The other best thing that you've gave me besides the whiteboard is a hug, buddy. Is a hug. I love an old burly Dizzle hug. You old bear, you.
Paul says notepads are the bee's knees. I say all this about technology, yet I've got like I don't know how many of these sitting over here to the side.
Oh God, yeah.
Ooh,
Hella in the house. I didn't know Hella was
pads.
in here. Kuda wants a bunch of Guggen jigs. Well, you have to hit up Dizzle for those. He's got all
the Right in the Rain field notes. I have a ton of those field notepads.
Let's see. Lots of people saying congrats, rip Iowa. That better not have been your first comment in here, Hella.
Oh no.
Get the hell out of here.
I think his first comment was making fun of my trash web camera right now.
Oh. Let's see. Sailor. Yes, sailors swear like a Hank. Yeah, exactly.
Look, guys, I can't help it. I've got a potty mouth. It's just been that way since I was a kid.
We all do. That's the thing is like
I'm blue. Listen, I might be white collar now, but I come from blue collar. When you're standing around a bunch of blue collar guys, it's just how they talk.
Dude, I curse like a sailor too, and I try to keep it PG for my channel. Now,
yes, listen, I do too. That's why I feel so bad because I'm like, oh crap, we were live.
Well, it's fine. You just got me demonetized, not you. So yeah, it's fine.
That's okay then.
Let's get into some rod and reel talk. We got some good tackle nerds here.
Dude, Andy 70, says, man. I love that 70.
I'm gonna open this up. To do you have so the reason I'm saying this is so the MGL 70 or 150. I'm gonna open it up to do you have kind of a surprise reel that you feel like doesn't get a lot of love that is actually really good? And the reason I say that is because in the SLX lineup, the SLX MGL 70, I feel like is kind of a dark horse. That reel's really good for the price, especially if you can get it on sale. That's kind of my pick. About you guys.
I've casted yours a couple of times, right? The 7 didn't you have the 70 out last time? It was nice. It was a nice small reel, but I mean, I'd probably go with the 150. That's just me though.
That 70, it's a little tank. I love that 70.
Are you talking about the SLX or the Corrado one?
Corrado. I only use it just to pitch with, but man, it's a heck of a reel.
Yeah, I had the little 70 of the SLX MGL 70 on like a lipless topwater popper. It had mono on, I think 12-pound mono. And dude, I was slinging a little quarter ounce lipless. Like I was like, damn, it'll send it. Zillion. Actually, Jason, here's a funny one. So people were talking about, there was a couple comments earlier, Metanium Zillion giveaway. So to date, I've given away a Zillion and I've given away a Metanium on my channel. So maybe that's what Jim's getting ready to do next. You know,
you guys missed it. Gramps said earlier in the comments, you can't go back and look at it, but he said he was going to give me his old Zillion since he got a new one.
Ooh, do it. I've got a lefty here for you to try too that I bought from. Shut.
You didn't see nothing.
If I could put him in a video timeout, I would. The only thing I can do is kick him. I don't want to kick him because he's got good knowledge here. But if I could put him in a video timeout,
you didn't see nothing.
Damn it, Jim. Blue collar equals redneck. Yeah, kinda. That's all right. We're good for it.
Hey, I admit it.
Botan Pixie. I don't know what question. I don't have any confidence in lures yet. What is a good beginner bait to focus on learning? I would say
Spinnerbait.
so. So I'm assuming you're saying like you fish a lot of live bait and stuff. And it almost looks like, is that Marius Pujanowski or is that actually you? Because you are a handsome devil if that's your picture. I remember. Here's how old I am. I used to watch Marius Pujanowski in the strongman competitions. You know he fights MMA now.
Oh, that's really?
Yeah, he does MMA. I saw
Huh.
that the other day, and he's lost like obviously a ton because he's not on roids anymore. But dude, he was such a freaking tank back in the day. World's strongest man. Anyway, yeah, I would say a cast and retrieve lure, spinnerbait, swim jig, chatterbait, something you can just cast and reel and find those spots. I would say looking for those spots that are high percentage. You know, if you're, I don't know if you're bank fishing or not, but wood, grass lines, you know, big rock piles, just trying to get comfortable casting and reeling around that stuff. And kind of like we talked about, and I don't mean this to sound bad, but like for kids, like any of the kids stuff too, you know, a Texas rig, a Mojo rig, Ned rig,
shaky head, Ned,
yeah.
Underspin, darter bait,
swim baits, you know, some sort of, you know, belly weighted weedless little swim bait's great.
Gramp says 70 for finesse jig, jerk baits, 150 for all. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yep. Yeah, the MGL is really good at throwing the lighter stuff. So anything you need just a little bit of extra oomph. And there's Hella saying, yeah, exactly. 5-inch Cinco or stick worm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick bait is, and I can't believe we didn't say that for kids earlier. Yeah. Stick bait is like ultimate. I don't know how, maybe somebody did, but let's see. Best reel in the SLX lineup and then the XT. Yeah, I would agree.
XT sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the extra addition of the brakes on that one over the regular SLX.
Yeah,
and the regular SLX is a great reel, especially if you can get one of those one-off sales. See, that's what
we talked about that before. That SLX, it tosses lighter baits better than the XT.
See, that's what I thought too. And then when I did that test of all the reels, like it was at the bottom, and I still think, and I still think there was wind because I was casting a quarter ounce. I think a quarter ounce is what I was doing in that test. But I know when I started, it was windier, and I'm like, dude, it feels like this is one that will launch a lighter bait. So I think there might have been wind that messed it up for the beginning, but let's see. Best reel in that category is a Scorpion 7071. Yeah, you're getting kind of niche for that. Not a lot of people, you know, go to the JDM type stuff. Now it's cool to see some of the smaller reels coming back around, you know, instead of having to go like a big Aldebaran, or not big, but like a higher priced Aldebaran, something like that, you know, coming down to the more affordable price stuff. And I think that's really been one of the biggest trends. What, I guess that would kind of be a fun one to pick your guys' brain. What's one of the biggest trends over the past, you know, 5-10 years that you've seen change in gear? Mine is, and I've said this before, not only the past 5 to 10 years, is like, you know, you look at the early 90s when I would buy stuff, you know, when I would save up or grab some of dad's old stuff, is the way technology has changed to not be high priced, but come closer to that budget deal. And now when you start to get, you know, instead of a $300 reel versus a $100 reel, then big difference. $300 reel versus $100 reel now, not as much of a difference.
That's a
you
good
can
point.
Still, you can still feel the gap, but it's like, it's not near the gap that it was before. So
reels have come a long way.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that the Revo winch that I used to use all the time for jig, when that came out, I think it was like a $300 plus reel.
I think you can get them for like $99 now or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think. But the only other thing, Debo, as far as the reels are concerned or the rods are concerned, the guides. I feel like there was a big push towards micro guides, and those suck. And now it's kind of gone to like a hybrid, regular and micro still at the same time.
Probably wasn't doing the leaders, probably.
Yeah,
I
dislike
I've noticed,
micro guides.
I agree. Like that's one of the things, you know, on the monster bass rods I've been using, that I talked about that in the video not too long ago. I personally don't like the micro guides really.
No, I don't.
I like the medium. Like Kistler has, I should go grab it, but they're pretty good at putting like the medium guides on.
Right.
They're not the big gaudy ones. They're like in between. And like, that's my favorite if I can have them on. I think it's the KLX that has them. I should go look. But yeah, I don't love them. And it's like, if I'm straight fluorocarbon, like if I'm fishing a chatterbait and it's just 100% fluorocarbon, could care less. Micro guides are completely fine. But like once I get into flipping a pitch in and like trying to feel it, or especially fishing braid, I despise them for braid. Absolutely hate them.
I mean, it seems like this past year at ICAST, it was big versus micro, and then it was just a multitude of forward-facing sonar baits. Companies jumping into that just because it is changing the way we approach fish.
I nailed it. Bot says that is 100% 5-time world's strongest man, Mariusz Pudzianowski. Boom! I thought that's who it was. Look at how much trim. He was a damn good looking guy, especially back in the day.
He was a monster, man.
Yeah, not trying to be weird or anything, but dude,
no,
he was.
You went there. It's
well,
okay.
That's fine. I'm comfortable with it. He was a handsome man. I've never had a second heart calling another man handsome. That's fine. Think what you want, but. Let's see. Send your unwanted left-handed reels my way, Patrick. Let's see. More spinnerbait versus buzzbait. Let's see. Oh God, there's another good one. Talk about old-time lures. Actually, do I have those down here?
He's getting up.
I'm not getting up. Look at that. Oh, still sitting my butt down. I got on sale, and I'm gonna be wrinkly dinkling in the. Well, I'm gonna be pulling a dizzle here.
Clamshells.
Curly tails, dude. Another one, absolutely another one that was awesome back in the day.
I guess the other thing with going back to the rods a little bit are the grips in general. They went from cork to the different types of wind grips, different things like that, and like pistol grips to like full on segmented grips or the full butt part of the rod itself.
Yeah, the push for the split grips.
Debo.
That was
Debo.
Is that the small one?
No, that's a big one.
Is that the big one or this new small one?
That's freaking foot, the 12-incher.
Oh, dang.
That's a big one.
So talk about, here we go. So this is the Don Iovino tournament quality hand poured custom bait, the miniature sluggo worm type of knockoff. Somebody, I think this was Tackle Warehouse that had these on sale a long time ago. They were discontinuing them. And I'm like, dude, I remember not only the old sluggo, but like there was a little in it. I don't think it was a sluggo, but it was a little bait that I remember like throwing on a text rig that I was thinking, dude, one of these would be awesome for like a miniature, like type of mojo rig. So these are little miniature sluggos. This Don Iovino little tiny miniature sluggo. It's a black and like brownish blue, segmented like an old sluggo. But I thought, what I thought about this first thing was a mojo rig. Throwing this on the end of a mojo rig. I mean, this thing's got so much movement. Now, some people would say drop shot would be the way to fish it, but I highly despise the drop shot. So
how flat is the back on that?
So the back is not crazy flat. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's just tiny bit of roundness. I mean, you could almost do like actually, let's see. It could almost be like for a Mini Max. Yeah. Like a Mini Max ChatterBait trailer. This is the big Bass Pro one. I don't know. I just happened to see these the other day and bought them. It was a 25 pack. And I was like, God, those things are cool. And they're the old sluggo version. So I was like, I got to do those I was thinking some of the jelly worms and bringing out like twister tails, some of the old stuff and be like, listen, just because this stuff's old doesn't mean it won't work anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jason's got might be a fun one at 940. Yeah, Superstitions.
Yep. I actually just sent that over in
StreamYard Dizzle. Chat. Okay, yeah. Jason.
For me, 100%. It doesn't matter if I'm stopping at multiple lakes. The very first cast can't catch a fish. If I catch a fish on the very first cast that I throw for the day, I just might as well just pack up and go home at that point in time. It's going to be a skunk fest the rest of the day.
Like, I don't have any, but what's with the whole? How did that even start with the banana? Like, does anybody even believe that?
No idea.
Those are in fact
that's almost a
finger.
I want to say like it started with like old school, like way back in the day, shipping. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, what even is the full on thing? I've just always heard it's bad luck to have it. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah.
Night, Rich. Yeah, I agree with Liza. I have no superstitions. I'm not that good. I don't believe in superstitions. So no, doesn't matter for me.
If it's the first cast or a banana,
it don't matter. I'll eat a banana
yeah.
and catch fish on first cast. I don't care.
I better I'll catch them anytime I can catch them because I'm gonna need to.
Bait chunking in the house, dude. That's an awesome avatar that you got too.
It is.
Talk about one of the best live setups. He used to. What did he say? He was like a DJ or something too on the side.
Yeah, he's got a killer setup.
Yeah, him and Bobby Roast Beef. Bobby Roast Beef. His setup is pretty cool, but his voice, he's got that radio voice that is.
Hammer's got a good one for superstitions. Always put the boat plug in, otherwise it's bad luck.
Ooh, yeah, that's a bad deal.
Camus won't sink though, so I've already did it a couple times.
I left it out of my John boat once, and I wondered why my butt.
Now that's bad.
So, yeah, it's bad. It's a bad deal. Luckily,
you did a video, didn't you?
Yeah, and then it shows me launch, and then it shows me pulling the boat back up on the trailer real quick. Because it was as I was. No, that was not the HHR. God rest in peace. It was right as I was pulling it down in and backing in, because I have to do the rope thing. Launching it by myself, I'll just put the rope to it, push it out. But it was the butt end was sinking as I was pushing the rope. I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Oh!" Pulled it back up on the thing, and then it's got me like letting it drain all the water out. DeBurley hype man. Assuming you only have 2 or 3 rods, how quickly do you cut bait and change lures when something isn't working? Man, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? I go back and forth between I don't know when to switch and I've switched too much. Still to this day, I go to that.
Clips and fast snaps. Line's expensive. Save money.
I hate clip snaps.
I like them, man. I live with them.
I got some of those that you advise. Is it the Norman ones or whatever, Jim?
Oh yeah. The I think it's called speed clips.
Yeah, speed clips. I haven't tried them yet, but
fast. That's what I was talking about. That's what I meant. The speed clips. Yeah, man. I love them. Listen, I live by them.
I hate them. I hate anything else on my line that's extra. And I think what put a bad taste of that in my mouth is, remember the old ones with the brass, like it was the brass part, and it would have the little thing you'd have to bend down and like tuck it under it. I've broke so many of those. It's
they're usually the ones that you pull up that have 3 to 6 of the pinch weights right up above it. Or sorry, right above the wire leader that it's snapped to.
Next to a swivel, and then all your split shot weights that have.
Yeah, I've never had any issues with those speed clips. They're pretty good.
I'll have to try those. I've got some of the new ones. I think I got some P-line ones, some Spro, and somebody else, and I also got those Norman ones to try. Because I'm not a clip guy.
I'm also kind of, in reference to that question right there, I'm kind of stubborn, so I just like, if these fish ain't biting, I'm gonna make them bite this lure, because I brought it and went through the time to tie it up to begin with. And then I usually get pissed off at myself because I'm not catching any fish. Weird how that works.
Yeah, if it's a confidence bait, I won't cut them off. But if it's like something finesse or a worm, whatever, I'll give it 10, 12 casts. I don't catch nothing. I'll tie something else on, but I'll leave my crankbait and spinnerbait tied on.
Yeah.
I try to carry a rod for everything, and probably 3 of the stuff that I really have confidence in. That's the reason, I just like, for me, if I'll throw 2 or 3 things at them, and if they're not biting, I'm moving. So,
yeah, back when we were talking about micro guys, yeah, leaders don't play well with those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and same like Grant said, is fine if you don't mess with braid. Yeah, certain situations I just do not like them. People talking about the Sluggo making an appearance. Shimano, lots of Shimano talk here. I own 2 Shimano bait casters, SLX and MGL. Like them a lot. Oh, here was one. Have you guys tried any of the 6 Gill stuff? I see their reviews and stuff, more of a budget kind of deal. I've never used one.
I haven't.
I've used their rods. I think I've got one, this has been years ago. They used to do like buy one, get one all the time. Their rods are pretty good. They're a little on the stiffer side. That seems to be kind of the deal out of rod manufacturers out of Texas. I guess they just fish for bigger bass down there.
That is the thing. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Their reel was all right. It was just a spinning reel, one of the first ones they kind of come out with. I haven't used any of their stuff since then.
Quick question for you guys, since we were just talking about snaps. So for like poppers and walk the dog baits, do you guys tie direct? Do you tie a loop knot or you snap?
For walking baits, no, I tie a loop knot. For jerk baits, I mean, if I'm trying to cycle through, because I generally carry 2 different jerk bait rods. I carry one for heavier, deeper divers, and then I carry one for, you know, lighter lures. And then but if I'm cycling through, like trying to get the color dialed in or the action dialed in, I'll use snaps. But then once I know what's going on, I'm even tying a loop knot on those.
Loop knot.
Yeah, I prefer just a split split ring, but I do tie a loop knot as well, especially like if I get one. Sometimes I want to say even the sexy dog that I got, sometimes you get those baits that don't have it, which makes 0 sense to me. I don't know why they don't include it, but yeah, if they don't, I'll just tie a loop knot, or even if I want to get a little bit more action out of it, especially like a walking bait, you can get it to walk a little bit harder. Yeah, I'm not a snap guy, so I either use a split ring or just a loop knot if I need it.
Yeah, I don't know how to tie a loop knot, so I'll just ask Debo what I need to do, and usually says, you know, just put a split ring on there.
Jim or Hank, you guys, what's the size clips you guys use? How do the sizes work in those?
Oh God,
They're
like
clips.
I'll have to dig it off.
I want to say the ones I looked at were like poundage, so it was like a 30-pound is what I got, 30-pound snap or something.
Yeah, I think Owner and Mustad number them like a number 5,
like a 2, 3, 4.
2, 3. Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to dig.
It's going to be bigger if it works like a split. If it works like a split ring, the bigger you go in number, the bigger the ring
that's
it
how
is.
it works.
Looks like on the Norman they have just like your standard, and then they have a Magnum, and I just use the standards.
You've never bent one or broke one or anything?
I've never had any issues with the standards. No.
Those things are pretty thick wire. They're thicker than just like your regular old little speed clips.
I think it's really you got like a double too there compared to like a regular clip. So
yeah.
So there was a couple questions about braid. Let's see. We'll do a couple more questions here, then we'll cut it. I know Jim needs to go get some grub. We're almost at 10 o'clock here. Hank, are you at 11 o'clock? Are you an hour ahead?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Hank. Well, his old lady ain't there, so he can stay up and party with us.
He's partying all night long.
Yeah, we know he was throwing a few back before when we got him in.
I'm off, so I'm just, I got the Florida State game recording in there, so go knows. I'm going to go.
Oh, I need to check the Iowa. I'm sure Iowa's up like.
And if anybody puts that in the comments, I'll murder you. I swear to God.
It's 20-0, 20-0 for the Hawks. I knew it wasn't going to be a good deal. Yikes!
Jeez, not only is this one demonetized, it's going to be used in court too.
How premeditated, Frank.
It's like at an hour 46 and 42 seconds. This is exactly where Hank threatened to murder everyone.
Barry, how do you guys feel about I think you meant to say tying braid directly to the bait instead of a leader? Depends what I'm doing, Barry. I am personally not a braid to leader guy on any of my casting stuff. I just don't like it. Which is funny because all of my spinning stuff, I love braid to leader, but it's so much smaller line. Yeah. It's like thread versus, 40, 50, 65-pound braid that a lot of guys will do for pitch and flipping jigs and stuff. But those guys are usually down in Florida where they need that extra backbone to get them out of super. Like we have some pretty gnarly stuff around here in some of our places, but nothing like down there. So
yeah. I'm pretty much the same. About the only time that I'm ever going to tie straight, like even on top water, like if you've got dirty water and you're fishing shallow, yeah, fine. If you're tying a walking bait, tie it straight to the bait. But as clear as the water as I fish, I almost use straight mono on my bait casters. I'm a braid to leader guy on my spinning reels, unless again I've got a spinning reel that I'm using a top water, then I'm going to put a mono leader on that. But other than that, man, it's straight fluoro for me. I even get into the argument with people. They're like, oh man, I use braid on my A rigs. They're like, they're going to see the wire anyway. Yeah, but they're going to hear that. If you can hear that sound coming through your guide, guess what they can hear coming at them down there. sound travels farther in water than it does. It ain't about sight. It's about the vibration of that line coming and them seeing that spaghetti noodle passing by them before those baits get there.
Unless they're Italian bass, then maybe they like spaghetti
Well, they
noodles.
might like a spaghetti noodle. Yeah, you know. Jim.
Let's see. Jim, probably the only one out of us that would have the Shimano Poison Ultima. You have any of those?
I do not.
I do not. I'm guessing you guys don't either. I think that's kind of a expensive rod. Let's see. How about this one?
That was a reel. That's how crazy it is for me.
Yeah, same. I'm with you. Like I don't.
Hell, maybe it is. Maybe I'm out of the loop. I thought that was a rod. Here's one. Dave brings up a good point. Anybody try any of the H2O stuff from Academy? I have seen this. I don't have an Academy by me. Have you guys used any of it? Thoughts?
I haven't.
I've not used any of like their rods or reels. I've heard good things about their rods, but man, they make some kicking baits, dude. They really do.
Somebody sent me some of the square bills and the paint jobs on them. They had like the realistic, almost like stickery type look to them. You know, those HD type. They looked good. Somebody sent me, I think, 3 of those. I forget who it was, whichever Fish and Friend, but
Patrick must be watching Bass Geek.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I guess I didn't really think of that. I don't use them for that, but that's another good point. If you use snaps, yeah.
See, I do though, and I don't have any issues with it. Even the last short I put out, using the I think it was the Biospawn walking bait. You can see in that video walks just fine with the snap.
Might depend.
I loop knot on it though, and look at the difference. And let me ask you this: does it have a the Biospawn? Does it have a flat bill like a Sexy Dog, a flat nose?
Or does it sit butt down? That's another thing too.
Haven't had one right here.
They're easy. It does.
He imagine that?
Too.
I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to tie a loop knot on baits that have that kind of snub nose. Yeah, no, yeah, you'll get, that's a popper. So yeah, you'll get a little more walking action out of those. But for the most part, the walking baits, the walk the dogs, you know, spook style, if they're not a true cigar, they're not truly smooth.
Right.
It don't really help.
Q-Tip said the Shimano Poison Ultima is a $900 rod.
Jesus, I was thinking like 4 or 5. Wow.
Listen, I can buy 90% of what's in my tackle or my, you know, rod locker for one of those.
TJ's like, I can buy this one section right here.
Yeah.
He's like, I could buy this one little box that's sitting next to me here.
I got no rods.
Ben, great point. Why aren't oval line ties the standard? Yeah, that's one good thing that Strike King does is they put oval line ties on cranks.
Yeah,
and I agree 100%. They should be the standard. Now their hooks kind of suck. They've gotten better. I think they've switched hooks in the past because you would literally take Shimano, damn it, Strike King cranks or like a lipless out. Those hooks were bad.
Yeah,
and I think they've changed them. So I don't know if they
do seem better here lately.
Yeah, and they're not super heavy wire. I know that's another thing people talk about is they're not heavy. Well, listen, if you need a super duper heavy wire, I would suggest switching them out anyway. But got to match the hook to your combo. Let's see. Let's take 2 more questions. Let's get 2 more good ones in here. If you guys see anything, Ben, this is not one of the questions we're going to count because we already know this. Who's the leader in tackle? For sure, it's Jim.
Yeah,
dude, looking behind you, man.
We all kneel to Jim. Dude, there's barely a few things behind me. With Jim, there is
no way.
Who has been the one to say literally all night? Well, I happen to have
exactly
right here.
Well, all I have because it's right here.
Oh, but they're in my
boat. Sitting back 10 foot, you could grab everything.
Yeah, all this stuff behind me is fake empty packs.
Really, look at Bass Geek.
It's just aesthetics. It's fake empty packs.
It's like the movie The Interview.
I don't need any of this baloney of you typing this in here too.
I was just letting you know. You made a comment about it. It's
Dizzle.
Fourth quarter's already started. Also,
you're just sour because we beat Nebraska. Let's see. What do you guys got? Do you see any good ones? Any good questions here? Come on.
Oh, this one right here says, "Why is Debo such a bully all the time?" Great question.
Money Bass, he must be a dude down from your area. Said great info, $2. Thank you, my man. Said great info. What's up, Bass Geek? Lanier is waiting.
Hey, call me this weekend, Money, if you're free, by the way.
Okay. Money, thanks for the $2 bomb. Might see him and Hank out on a trip here soon. We'll see, I guess.
Hope so. He's 4 or 5 hours south of me, but got some great lakes down there. South
Have
Carolina.
Ooh.
What's the furthest you have to travel, Hank, for a good lake?
5 hours. What do you consider a good lake?
You know, just decent, or where you go to the most?
Well, I don't consider those good lakes.
Oh, you don't?
No, they're listen, 90% of the lakes in my area, and we'll talk about Douglas, Cherokee, South Holston. Watauga's pretty good, but a little above average. Norris, these are my home lakes. Flanagan. If you catch 5 3-pounders, you've won 90% of the tournaments throughout the year, except for maybe the dead spring when they're just eating anything you throw at them. So,
Q-tip, the big swim bait guys do, and so does Hank when he's fishing ledges. I was throwing a 3.5 ounce underspin.
It's funny when y'all were talking about chatterbaits. I'm like, my favorite time to throw a chatterbait is a 2 ouncer by Picasso on the ledges in 30 foot of water.
What percentage of the time in those places, I don't know how quickly they drop off, but how often are you fishing like 6 feet or less? How often do you do that?
Never.
I'll say,
Seriously, really?
Spring when they're on the beds.
I say even on beds and like spawn, you don't.
Well,
do you get a sight fish in there much? Like, can you get up on them and see, or are they?
Yeah. Now, when the spring comes and they're raising the lake, and the smallmouth are up, they'll be maybe 5 feet, and you can only see like maybe 3 or 4, so you're not really sight fishing them. But the largemouth will spawn, 2 to 3 feet, and you can sight fish those. It's. Dude, so on the 2 lakes that I fished predominantly this year, Flanagan Lake, and which is in Virginia, which is basically a canyon lake. Like, I mean, if you're setting off the bank in 90% of the area, 20 feet, it's 50 feet down. I mean, and South Holston, a lot is the same way. There's a few little flatter areas, but I always joke a square bill is a DT10 to me.
Right, and that's the funny thing about talking about, like, we have some lakes like that, like not to that degree, but we have even some of the what the hell do you call them? Not money pit for some reason. I'm thinking of that stupid oak.
They're
Army engineer
quarry ponds.
Quarry dig out, dirt ponds where they needed dirt and stuff.
Yeah,
roads or whatever. We've got some, and it's like you're just a couple steps off the bank, and it's already like 15 feet deep.
Yeah,
they're just.
That's. I mean, I filmed a video where I was talking about winter crankbaits, and I was throwing a 12-foot diver, and my buddy was having to tell me that I was getting ready to scratch the side of my boat. I mean, and I was throwing it down a channel swing wall, 12 feet. And I was that close to the bank with rock getting ready to scratch my boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Those places are, and that's what they call, like, that vertical wall fishing, or, you see some guys where they're like,
but that's everywhere.
25 feet down there, like right on this big, cool looking rock wall. We have some of that when you go to different places in Iowa, but again, not to that degree. But it's like, it's crazy how different. And even in those places, when I'm fishing those around here, I'm still trying to get that shallow water bite to work.
Yeah. Now, you go on down to Knoxville, which is 2 hours. You hit Fort Loudon, Watts Bar. Now, those are different. You've got flats in those areas where you can, square bill and crankbait. They're Tennessee. They're what I call true Tennessee River lakes.
See, that's what I think of when I think like Tennessee River and stuff. That's the type of stuff I think like.
You go down there. We were talking to guys one time, and I was telling them about, they're like, oh yeah, man, I was catching them on deep ledges, 20, 25 feet. So I was like, I catch them 40 feet in the summertime.
Hell, I call them up from 60.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all summer long, that prank, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'd see them on my graph. And I mean, we're talking about out in the middle of the lake over 120 foot of water, 50 foot of water.
Yeah, especially when you see that, like Jim was saying earlier. Yeah, like when you can actually put that behind it and see how they're reacting. Like, that's a whole new like book being opened up into what
Oh,
you
yeah.
can fish and what you can do, and like because how many guys have driven past that spot and thought not even had
Well,
a
but
second
it's-
wind of a thought of like throwing a bait there, you know?
But I mean, that's the thing. It's not even a spot. You
That's
know,
what I mean. It's just just driving
how
into nowhere and
how you know these spots is that you go and you graph, and you know, I mean, I used to do it on a flasher, and you'd see the shad, and then you know you just kind of sit there and wait until they would push the shad to the top and bust, and then you just start fan casting. You'd count down, you know, swim baits, you know, big swim baits or underspins or, you know, that sort of stuff. You'd see how deep the shad were, and then you just kind of count that down and try different depth levels and just fan cast. And that's what you did. If they were close enough, you'd throw that bait near them and walk it or pop it. You know, it's like, you know, people were like, oh man, live scope's cheating. Come fish my waters, pretty please. Come fish them. Tell me how much fun.
I love Hank's voice for anybody that he talks to that he doesn't appreciate.
Tell me how you like going out during the day and catching. I mean, yeah, I can go fish the bank and catch 112 inches, and if you're cool with
that sounds like my type of video.
You're cool with that. Go have a good time with it. But I've caught enough 12 inches in my lifetime that I don't get googling over it. Oh, look at that 12 inches!
Hank, listen. Hey, don't be saying 12 inches is average.
Jeez, hey, sorry for everybody that's listening right now with headphones in, because I know my ear is bleeding right now.
You know, I mean, man, I'm old. I've been doing this a long time. I'll be 50 next year. I like to catch something that's going to tug.
Well, hey, listen, to some of us, 12 inches is a good tug. So,
well, you know, listen, there are days.
Don't mark that in the live. I should probably
12 inches.
Bass for Dave. Okay, anyway, Bass for Dave. $5 bomb. We appreciate you, my man. Game for the next group live. Chat picks the bait. Point to each person who has it. An extra point if it's in the room. Ooh, that would be kind of a fun roulette. Definitely couldn't have Jim on for that one because he would destroy us. He'd be like, I happen to have this right here next to me.
I want to know how everything's just within arm reach.
I just happen to have 17 packs of this on this peg right here.
Well, man, it's right by me. You know, Debo, if he was back 10 feet, same deal.
See, don't try to drag me down on this ship with you. We know you're the tackle junkie for a reason.
Yeah.
Bait Chunk and my man became a YouTube member. He also had a whole bunch of stubby sad faces down there. It doesn't show it. So just DEBO'S stubby sad. I don't know what the hell, but it's picture my Stubbins, who's actually knocking at the door. I can hear him over there, nose in the door, trying to get in here. We'll bring him in for one more question. Somebody pick it, not me. And then we're getting out of here. And Jim's hungry. I can see he just messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm hungry. Get this show on the road."
And DEBO'S out of here.
Hey, David, you're from St. Louis. It's about 20 minutes from me.
Have you guys thrown the Chad Shad yet? The Spro Chad Shad?
Yes.
Patrick was asking.
I've got all their colors. They're in the boat though. But man, I've got one of his actual crappie baits. Dude,
yeah.
In the spring. Ooh, that thing is dirty.
Do we get
that's
a question?
I'm scared of big lures, and I threw the mag draft a couple of times this year, and I'm anxious for next spring to come and throw that around too to see what it does.
Let's see. Gosh, I see some good stuff going in here. Do we have a question? Let's get one. We got to get one for a good one to end it here.
I'm looking here.
Let's ask Stubby what his question is.
Diggs. I think y'all are stuck with me now. Well, Diggs, we appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the support, my friend. Let's see. One more. No, bigger baits. People talking about I'm not a bigger bait guy. Micro cranks. Liza, we can't talk about that one. Thank you.
Liza had some gems.
Dude, Liza's always good for a fun comment. Okay, let's just pick a random. You guys. Give me a random question. What's a good one? What's one thing we haven't talked about tonight that we need to?
What are you doing to that beard, man? It's looking fresh.
Dude, it's getting too much gray in it. You see that big gray spot there? Gray there. Starting to get
Oh,
gray there.
let's just shut up about having gray hair.
I had to trim mine up. I was getting too many grays.
I don't have anything left but gray and white.
Yeah, they're creeping. I guess we're that age. We're not 18-year-olds anymore.
Yeah,
we're distinguished. I know, we're distinguished, aren't we? Let's see where's the Excel sheet tonight? Hey, listen, that's that's when it gets to be. That's when it gets to be at the edge of my technologically advanced DEBO'S when I whip out a Excel spreadsheet.
Did you publish the Excel spreadsheet anywhere for future references for anybody?
No, I don't think so. Okay, well, listen, there's nothing else here. We're over 2 hours. I think we're grasping at questions. It's been a ton of fun. Again, follow these guys, Tackle Junkie, Bass Geek, Dizzle. I linked them all in the description below. Special thanks to these guys for making time tonight to hang out. Love y'all. But we're going to get out of here. And until next time.